G'day there folks, my name is Connor and we're back with some more stories from Reddit. As always, if you enjoyed these videos, be sure to hit like and subscribe, and also the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Alrighty, let's get right into it. Alrighty, for something a bit different, this one was posted on the Neighbours from Hell subreddit. It was written by user OWhale, and it's titled, Next door neighbours been continuously calling the police for noise complaints in the middle of the day over housework and yard work. Hello Reddit, long-time lurker here. English isn't my first language, so bear with me. My parents, mid-50s, and I, 25, have lived in this township my entire life. Many of our neighbours know my parents well, and we've all gotten along just fine. We just recently had a new neighbour move in with her boyfriend, both mid-20s, next to us in December 2024. And since then, she's called the police on us multiple times during the day, and our town's health department too. For context, my dad owns multiple vehicles and motorcycles and does repairs on them mostly on the weekends, during the day. When he's on his vacation weeks, he will do them during the week, during the day. He plays music at a low level, think background music, that can't be heard from the street while he does his work. From what we've gathered, this neighbour works from home. As for what she does, we're not sure. She's come up to my dad several times, specifically to tell him to stop playing music and doing his repairs during the day. And night, mind you. She's also told him he needs to get rid of his truck because it's, quote, too loud and rattles her windows. It's a 1969 Chevrolet truck. If you know older vehicles, they have a deeper bass to their engines for the most part. This neighbour's put up a new and flimsy fence, nailed to ours, and put caulking all over her windows to try and muffle the sounds. She's also tossed weeds and grass all over our driveway and has begun harassing the other neighbours for just doing their normal everyday yard work. I've started keeping logs of the police visits because it started getting to a ridiculous level. We've had police come through multiple times a day for the same issue. Apparently the police are aware of who's making the calls, but I figure I might as well keep record too. I'm just appalled. We live in a ghetto little township with no HOAs and barely any enforcement. Lots of freight trains pass through a few streets over, and the high school hosts games that are very, very loud throughout the year. I don't know what this girl is trying to achieve, or if she has some specific issue with us due to our race, which in itself wouldn't make sense since her relationship is interracial too. Sorry for the rambling, I'm just tired of this lady and her constant harassment. Edit, clarifying some points I've seen. My dad doesn't do repair or yard work every day. Most of the time he keeps this to the weekends. During his vacation weeks he may do these more often, but certainly not every day. Also, other people around us do repairs and yard work and play music during the day. Her issue seems to be with us specifically. He has a garage he keeps the music contained in. He doesn't blast the music from the driveway or anything, and our garage is a separate building in the very back part of our yard. This has been the same case for the last 30 years my parents have lived here, and she's the first neighbour to complain about the music and yard work. This neighbour calls multiple times a day sometimes. As of right now, I'm setting up a meeting and call with the police department to figure out next steps. We have tried to work with her, but she's been pretty hostile whenever we've tried to work out a civil conversation with her. And small update, we're going down a legal route. The neighbour attacked me yesterday when I got home from work. Not sure what her issue is, but I hope we can resolve this soon. I'm so tired. Yeah, wow, completely unjustifiable. I mean, something tells me that the neighbour's problem with them is more than just noise. Let's go to the comments. Keep notes. Every time the police come because of a complaint, what the complaint was, what the police said, date and time. If you ever need to demonstrate harassment, this will help. Opie says, I have a journal full of these visits now. My dad is having me research how to get her on harassment since it's causing a lot of stress for us and our other neighbours. I forgot to mention, I do try to keep track of the fights she has with her boyfriend too. She gets into screaming matches with him a lot that everyone around the neighbourhood can hear. I'm surprised the cops showed up since it's during the day and most places don't have daytime noise ordinances. Where I'm from, this would be considered a nuisance call to the police and they'd ticket the person for excessive reporting. They say, I'm surprised too. We do have quite a bit of day-to-day noise between the schools and the trains. I work at night and I can sleep through these noises just fine, so I'm not sure what her problem is. It's time for you to go to the police station and ask to speak to the supervisor on duty. Then file a police report for them for your neighbour harassing you. If the other neighbours are having issues with her, they need to do the same. And Opie says, "Thank you, I plan to do so in the next few days, if not today. She's called 3 times today alone." Opie clarifies details on the noise ordinance during the daytime that could have affected the neighbours' working hours at home. "Yeah, we've kept the music low or none at all, and my dad and I usually don't idle our trucks for long, maybe a minute or two at most. I leave at midnight and he leaves around 6 a.m. The police have confirmed with us that we're not violating any noise ordinance laws and that her complaints are unfounded. It's not just the music she calls over, it's general yard work and repair work my dad does and the other neighbours do during the day. She also calls multiple times per day sometimes. It's not every day, even on his vacation weeks. Usually it's on the weekends, if he has time to. Neighbour tends to call every time he's doing something outside in his garage or out in the yard. We've been trying to work with her, but she either screams at us, ignores us, she wears big headphones outside, or resorts to calling the police. Yeah, ours is 60 decibels during the day. Noise restrictions are 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. What I'm hearing is that you've done your homework, you know the noise ordinances, you're keeping records, you've gotten good advice here, but I still have 2 questions I haven't seen addressed. Do they own or rent? I'm guessing they own, so you can't just complain to the landlord. Has anyone spoken with her partner? I mean, she isn't willing to work anything out with the neighbourhood, but maybe her partner has working hinges. If you're in the United States, you can look for your local lawyer referral service, which is sort of a low-cost legal clinic. They'll find an attorney with a relevant specialty, and you can have a brief consultation for a nominal fee. They will usually do small jobs at a reduced rate too, like a letter or something. There are sometimes mediation services available through the police, and that might end up being a solution. In my hometown, we used the noise abatement department of the police, which set up mediation with the NFH. You could even call the police yourself and ask if they have any such service. If I were in your shoes, I would ask some of the other neighbours she's bothering to join you in calling noise abatement. Explain that your neighbour is complaining about the noise and you'd like help resolving the complaints. Maybe if she hears from an authority figure that she's out of line, she'll back off. By the way, if she's nailed a fence into your fence, I would definitely have an attorney right to fix that. In fact, when was the most recent survey done? Is her fence on your property? 0 tolerance. Tossing waste onto your property? Not okay. Take action. Good luck, and do please update. I'm invested now. Opie replies, "Thank you for this. We're in the US, so I'll look into the lawyer service and the mediation when I'm home from work later today. I don't think we've done a survey recently. I'll have to ask my dad about that. Her boyfriend built the fence. It's very flimsy. I think they built it with the lowest quality wood, and they put packing styrofoam on it to try to muffle the sounds. Birds have been picking at the fence, and the windstorms we've had haven't been kind to it. As for her partner, my dad and I talked to him actually. The guy doesn't speak up against his girlfriend's actions and is kind of clammed up at this point. He's very meek and quiet. I'm beginning to suspect he might be a victim of abuse just based on the screaming fights he and his girlfriend get into. She says horrific things to him. I feel bad for the guy, honestly. I'll do my best to keep people posted. Thank you again." Okay, now for an update, nearly 1 month later. Hello again, Reddit. I hope you're all doing well. Forgive me, I'm not too sure how updates work in this sub. A quick TLDR of my original post. My neighbour has been calling noise complaints repeatedly since she moved in with her boyfriend next door in late 2024. These complaints have been about my dad's music, trucks starting in the morning, and yard repair work during the day. Let me address the commonly asked questions that I saw. How loud is the music and how often do these activities occur? 60 decibels is the limit during the day. This is about as loud as a vacuum cleaner, according to the health department when we called them to verify. My dad and I marked the sound setting in his stereo's volume knob so we don't go over that limit. Generally, the music is much lower. We can have a normal conversation without the music drowning us out. My guess is that it's 40 decibels and below, but I don't have a device specific for that measurement. My dad doesn't have the music playing or doing yard work and repair work every day. He keeps these to the weekends, unless he has a week off from work. Even then, he doesn't do these activities every day. Our garage isn't a part of the house, it's all the way back in our backyard, and he keeps the music contained in there and the repairs. These activities that we do are usually in the afternoon, around 1 p.m. and later. Sometimes we do stuff earlier, like 11 or 10 a.m. in the summers because of the heat. Our neighbours only call the police during the week, with many calls happening around noon, even when we're not home. She doesn't do this during the weekends or when I or my mum are doing yard work in the front yard. It's only when my dad's on vacation and he's doing some kind of yard work or repair work with the music playing at a low level. What have we done to reduce noise? As I said before, we did contact the health department, I believe that's what they're called in English, to verify noise ordinance and anything we can do to help alleviate the problem. We've made sure the noise is within legal limits, but there's only so much we can do when we have things that we need to take care of and are legally allowed to do on our own property. My dad keeps his repair work and music within his garage. It was added onto the property before my parents bought the house, so it's not directly to the side of the neighbour's house, it's in the very back. We verified with a detective that the level of sound coming out of the garage is actually quite quiet and shouldn't be causing the level of disturbance the neighbour says it does. We have tried talking to the neighbour and her boyfriend to figure out a solution, but have been met with nothing but hostility. She wants nothing to do with us. We did allow her and her boyfriend to use our fence posts to build their own fence onto, but this fence doesn't go the whole length of their property. It only goes to the garage entrance, not all the way to the back of the property. Maybe that's a reason why she can hear the sounds. We know that she's been adding noise proofing to her house, but outside of that, I'm not sure what else we can do. We discussed some details with the detective, and the detective verified that we have done as much as we can do within our power to reduce noise. Also, this neighbour has called upwards of 50 times in the last 2 months alone for the same issue. She's also visited the precinct enough that she's become a nuisance to them. Please let me know if I've missed anything. I'll answer any questions that I'm able to. Alright, so, the update. I added a small update to my original post on the day of, but on the 24th of May, the neighbour confronted me after I'd gotten home from work. I wasn't in the mood to really talk to people. Night shift is brutal, much less her, so when she started bombarding me with questions about why I wasn't listening to her complaints, I told her I'd just gotten home and had better things to do rather than listen to her complaints. I tried to leave the situation after that and go into my house, but she slapped me and told me I was a disrespectful bitch and shouldn't talk to her like that since she's older. I don't know her actual age, but I know she's young. I tried to disengage after that, but she kept slapping and hitting me. One of our other neighbours saw the commotion and called the police. It's been a whole thing. We're considering going for more than just assault charges when we're able to. This incident, plus my journal logs and the records the police have, we do have a case. I'm just tired of this situation, and so are my parents. At least my best friend and girlfriend are enjoying the drama, lol. Anyway, sorry this post is so long. If I have any other updates, I'll try to write them when I can. Thank you guys for listening. One comment asks, was she arrested? Press charges for F's sake and get a restraining order or the equivalent where you are. Opie says, yes, she was. It's a first-time offence, but we've been working with the police to figure out legal steps. I hope we can get a restraining order after this. You are into lawyer land. 1. Cameras. Get cameras and have them doing a 360 around that house. Even better if you can have the cameras record audio. Double check your local laws. I know in Texas, perfectly legal to have outdoor cameras record audio, as 0 exceptions of privacy outside, including backyard. Yes, I learned it all from my own NFH in having to do it. 2. Get a lawyer to send a cease and desist letter to them and serve them with it, basically telling them in very legalized terms to F off and do not talk to you or interact with you. 3. Get the same lawyer to start the process of getting a restraining order and collecting evidence for that. Your cameras will help greatly in that department as it will show proof. 4. Keep a logbook and report any violations she does to the police. 5. Do not interact with your neighbour at all. No speaking, no nothing. If they speak to you, all you say is you need to talk to my lawyer. There is no direct convocation. You will always go through a third party, that being the cops or your lawyer. And 6. Be ready to file a lawsuit. Chances are your lawyer will gear up for that as well. The civil lawsuit is more about making the restraining order case stronger and is that other big scary stick that forces people into line. I am sorry you are dealing with this. That list above is what I had to do to deal with my POS neighbour. Now I ended up moving over it, but had to get all that in place to force them in line so we could sell the place and get some peace. The restraining order to make them back off, and then the lawsuit as the big stick to keep them scared, plus if they do anything to hurt the sale of the house, it's my big stick to go after the landlord. Opie replies, thank you, we've been in the process of buying cameras. Money is tight right now though. We do have some legal stuff started, lawsuit, RO, harassment, etc., due to the assault, so that's a start. I've been logging everything into a journal too, along with photos of my injuries. We also stopped interacting with her altogether a few weeks before my first post, so no issue there. I do hope this resolves quickly. My parents and I just want our peace back. And another update, a bit over 3 months later. First, I want to say thank you for all the comments, lol. I did get some good advice and some funny advice. I do appreciate it. I do apologise for taking so long to get back to you all. I was in a work accident in July and have been dealing with a traumatic brain injury ever since. That and life has been busy for me with good things. I wish I could say I have a good, dramatic update, but it's rather bland, meh. Nothing huge happened. My neighbour was slapped with community service and given an order to stop wasting police resources and a fine. She lost her job, so her parents have moved onto the property in a camper to help her out. We haven't had any problems since. My dad thinks they'll move within the year or during the winter since the winters get super bad here. So yeah, nothing crazy, just a woman being slapped with consequences of her actions. She hasn't bothered us since, and my family couldn't be happier, haha. Oh, and we did get a nice new security camera for our property, so some things are looking up. If anything major happens, I'll post another update, but for now, I'll be back to lurking. Thanks again, Reddit. I hope you all have good days, wherever you're at. Edit to add, I forgot to mention something I think you guys will enjoy. My dad is a beloved member of our community on the street we live on, so a lot of the older folks have taken to causing as much noise as possible to piss off the neighbour. Needless to say, I think it's worked, lol. That's great, community coming together. And now for a final update, 2.5 months later. Hello Reddit, it's been a little bit, I hope you all are well. This update's relatively short, but it's a very happy ending. The neighbour and her boyfriend broke up, and they've sold the house. They've since moved out, and will probably have new neighbours soon. My dad and his neighbourhood buddies have been celebrating quite a bit about it, lol. Even my wife and girlfriend have been laughing about it. We're all glad she's gone. All the legal stuff's been figured out too, so cheers. Anyway, that's my final update for this whole debacle. Thank you Reddit folks for sticking around for it. If you've kept up with my updates, I hope you all have a wonderful holiday season. Cheers. In edit to add, I see the mod team received reports for the post, for what reason I'm unsure, but it's still up. Regardless, I've posted a separate update on my profile in that case, for those who have been following this for a while. Reddit being Reddit, assuming this is AI. Alright, haha. It's the internet, do as you wish. I've no qualms with it. Either way, I'm going back to lurking, as I do. Good night, friends. Opie clarifies his relationships, having a wife and a girlfriend. He says, yeah, I have 2 partners, polycule, haha. It's a multi-generational household due to cultural, health and financial reasons. I live in the US in a place with quite a high cost of living, so it makes sense. To clarify, my dad doesn't run any business out of his garage. He likes to tinker and fix vehicles he owns, always has. It's more of a hobby than anything. The people that live in my house are me, my parents and my wife. My girlfriend has her own house a couple towns over. Someone says, you mentioned she assaulted you in your last story. Anything happened with that? He says, in terms of the legal side, she received community service and a fine. We considered a no contact order and restraining order, but didn't pursue it in the end. I wonder if him being a polycule had anything to do with the neighbour having disdain for them. Interesting. Let's read some final comments. I worked in a property management office. It once took us a couple of months to realise we had a tenant with a mental health problem. They kept making noise complaints about a neighbour. We talked to the other tenant who kept saying they weren't doing anything and that some of the complaints were coming in when they weren't even home. They wound up moving to another one of our units. The complaints, however, kept coming about a now vacant unit. When going over her complaints, it started becoming obvious that she was having hallucinations. We did notify the family and they moved her out. We don't know what happened afterwards. I think some people just need to be angry all the time. Guess we'll never know why the neighbour was so bothered by normal activities. My non-professional opinion is that this woman has psychological problems and needs an audience to harass and abuse. Yeah, one thing's for sure, it's certainly not all working correctly upstairs. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, that's it for that story, and that's it from me today. Hope you enjoyed that one. Thanks for making it to the end, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a good day. Cheers.